Deep in the forest, she dug a grave, not for a stranger, but for her own twin sister. Unconscious, silent, buried by jealousy. This was not war. This was envy. A sister willing to bury blood just to steal a destiny. She thought the earth would hide her crime, but destiny was awake, and what followed would shake the village forever. In the ancient Ebo village of Abio, where the evening moon touched the rooftops like a silver blessing, a strange wind swept through the compound of Mama Ama. Women returning from the stream paused. Goats bleated restlessly. The great Iroko tree behind her hut groaned, as though something old had awakened. For that night, the kind, soft-spoken wife of Okiki, the village hunter, went into labor. The midwives hurried in with calabashes of hot water and herbal smoke. But the moment her first baby slipped into the world, every lamp in the hut flickered. She came with peace, the oldest midwife whispered as the baby girl blinked up at her. See her face, calm like the river at dawn. They named her Sarah. Only moments later, the lantern flames trembled again, this time violently. A cold breeze pushed through the windows. Even though the night was still, the second baby arrived wailing loudly. Tiny fists clenched, eyes sharp and fiery like she had stepped out of a quarrel. The midwife stepped back, shaken. Huh? This one came fighting, she muttered. They named her Simi. 2 twins, identical faces, opposite destinies. And above the hut, the second moon, a rare celestial sign in Abio, hung silently in the sky. The elders later whispered, twins born under the second moon are destined to fight for one destiny. Only one will shine. But that night, nobody understood what the ancestors were trying to say. As the twins grew, their differences sharpened like a machete on a stone. Sarah, the calm one, moved like a gentle breeze. She fetched water before sunrise, swept the compound, and sang old folk songs with a sweetness that made even the birds pause. Simi, however, walked like thunder. Her footsteps came with impatience. She grew bold, stubborn, and restless, always looking to drag attention back to herself. Whenever Sarah was praised, Simi's eyes tightened. Whenever Sarah smiled, Simi found a reason to frown. Villagers began saying, wherever light stands, shadow must lie beside it. Mama Ama noticed something else, something darker. There were days Simi's eyes glowed with a strange old fire, like a spirit was peeping through her. Other days, she would talk to herself behind the hut, muttering to the wind, smiling at nothing, laughing when no one spoke. Amma prayed for her. She bathed her with protective herbs. She tied red thread around her waist for peace. She sacrificed white fowls at the shrine for cleansing. But nothing softened Simi's envy, an envy that, if not broken early, grows teeth. Years passed like dry leaves carried by the Harmattan wind. Then one sunny market day, a royal procession from the Kalaba kingdom entered Abio. At the center rode Prince Dyke, tall, elegant, and kind. He came searching for skilled palm wine tappers and rare herbalists, but fate led his eyes to Sarah. She was carrying firewood when a log slipped from her hands as she saw the royal horses. The prince rushed to help her. When she smiled shyly, something in his heart clicked into place. That is the one, he said softly. He returned to the palace and told his guards, find out who she is. I want her hand in marriage. That evening, the village buzzed like a disturbed anthill. Sarah blushed. Amma danced. Even the elders smiled. But one person stood in the doorway of their hut, watching in silence. Simi. Her jaw tightened. Her fists clenched like on the day she was born. Her heart twisted with a jealousy sharp enough to cut her breath. When she overheard the elders congratulating her sister, something snapped inside her, something that had been sleeping for years. She ran to her mother. "Mother, I want to be the one married to the prince." Her mother looked at her in surprise and confusion. "Simi, how can I do that? The prince already chose your sister, and you should be happy for her. Besides, she is your older sister. It is good she is getting married before you." Simi went to find her twin. She found Sarah behind the hut feeding their goats. She smiled and said, "Sarah, sister, there is a favor I wish to ask of you." Sarah asked her what it was, promising to help if she could. "I want to be the one to marry the prince. Would you let me marry him instead?" Simi asked greedily. Sarah was speechless for a moment. Then she shook her head. "Simi, that is a strange favor to ask of me. I also like the prince, and wish to marry him since he chose me. Do not worry, your own man will come." Simi did not press further. She simply turned and walked away with an angry face. Standing under the tree in their compound, Simi stared intently at Sarah sitting in front of the hut. Her gaze, full of jealousy, pierced as she whispered, "If I can't be chosen, I will make sure she is never chosen. If I can't marry the prince, over my dead body will she marry him." And the shadow inside her opened its eyes. At dawn the next day, Sarah set out to fetch water. It was tradition for girls about to be betrothed to cleanse themselves at the river. But she made a mistake. She went alone. Sarah was innocent. She did not suspect danger. Simi followed secretly and silently, her steps soft like a hunter creeping behind prey. When Sarah bent down to fill her clay pot, water shimmering around her reflection, Simi lifted a thick clay bowl. Her breathing grew heavy. Her vision blurred with rage. The shadow inside her smiled. She struck. The bowl cracked on Sarah's head. Sarah gasped, swayed, and collapsed. Simi stared at her still body. Her heartbeat drummed wildly, but her face was cold. She whispered, "You will not walk into my destiny. I will walk into yours." She grabbed Sarah by the arms, dragging her into the deep bush where the forest swallowed sunlight. The branches above groaned as if the ancestors were watching. Simi dug with trembling hands. A shallow grave, wide enough for a body, deep enough to hide a secret. Then she pushed Sarah inside, covered her with earth, and stood there panting, her hands shaking, her eyes wild. The forest went silent. Even the birds refused to sing. But she walked away, believing her shadow had finally defeated the light. What Simi did not know was that someone was watching. Okay, a young palm wine tapper, had been high up in a palm tree fixing his rope. From there, he saw Simi dragging a faint body, her own twin's body, through the forest. He saw the dust on her feet. He saw the shovel in her hand. He saw the fresh grave. And he saw her leave quickly, looking over her shoulder with guilt. Okay's heart pounded. "No," he whispered, "this cannot be what I think." But the ancestors pushed him. His spirit would not let him walk away. He climbed down and ran to the grave. The soil was still warm. He fell to his knees and dug with bare hands until his nails bled. Then he felt warm skin. Sarah was still breathing, faint, half buried, half alive. Okay carried her to his grandmother, Mama Ona, a feared healer who understood the ways of spirits. The old woman touched Sarah's chest and nodded. "The innocent do not die easily," she said. "She carries light, and light cannot be buried." She worked on Sarah through the night, washing her with sacred leaves, chanting ancient prayers, fighting the darkness that tried to grip her spirit. Before dawn, Sarah opened her eyes, but she did not cry. She did not scream. She only whispered, "Simi, my twin sister, wanted my life." And with that, destiny shifted. The village of Abio woke to a calm morning. But beneath that calm was the quiet footstep of a lie, walking confidently into daylight. Simi washed herself quickly at the stream and packed her braids exactly the way Sarah always did. She wore a cloth similar to Sarah's. She practiced Sarah's soft smile, her gentle tone, her humble walk. By the time she stepped into Abio, she looked like Sarah, but she carried the spirit of a lie wrapped in stolen peace. Villagers greeted her with excitement. "Ah, Sarah, the bride of the prince, welcome our daughter. You are blessed beyond measure." Simi lowered her eyes, pretending to be shy. But one person's heart trembled. Mama Amma. As soon as Simi stepped into the compound, she rushed forward, smiling with motherly relief. But when she touched Simi's arms, her smile slowly faded. "Sarah, where is your sister?" she asked carefully. Simi stiffened. She forced a small smile. "She went to fetch palm leaves. She will return later." Amma blinked. At that early hour, without telling her mother? Twins never separated without a word. Amma's voice dropped. "Sarah, look into my eyes. Are you sure Simi is safe?" Simi swallowed hard. Her throat felt tight. "Yes, Mama," she whispered. "But the heart of a mother is not fooled easily." Amma traced her fingers across Simi's palms. They were slightly rough. She looked at her feet, a little dusty, stained with the forest mud in some places. In her hurry, Simi hadn't washed them properly. "Where did you go this morning?" Amma asked slowly. Simi's body tensed like a caught thief. I walked by the stream," she lied. Amma nodded slowly, but worry crawled into her heart like a cold shadow. By midday, Amma became restless. Her other daughter still had not returned. She started asking people if they had seen Simi. The villagers realized something was wrong. Only one twin was visible. Women began whispering. Men frowned. Elders muttered ancient warnings. Twins are two halves of the same kola nut. If one is missing, something has gone wrong. "Where is Simi?" Amma stood in her hut, tears of panic already streaming down her cheeks. A small crowd formed. People began asking loud, worried questions. Amma stepped out, her voice trembling. "My people, I have not seen Simi since this morning." The villagers immediately organized a search. Young men grabbed lanterns and cutlasses. Women checked river paths and forest trails. Elders offered prayers. Simi stood in their midst, pretending to be worried. But inside her chest, her heart beat like a trapped drum. A young hunter approached her. "Sarah, she is your twin sister. Did she say anything to you?" Simi forced tears into her eyes. "I do not know where she is," she whispered. The lie rolled effortlessly from her lips, but the ancestors heard it. Drums suddenly echoed from the village gate. Prince Dyke had arrived, but instead of celebration, he walked into confusion. The prince frowned. "What is happening?" The elders explained one of the twins was missing. Prince Dyke's eyes grew sharp with concern. "Where is Sarah?" Simi stepped forward quickly, lifting her voice gently. "I am here, my prince." She lowered her gaze, acting shy. The prince relaxed a little, but he sensed something else, a strange coldness, like air refusing to settle around her. Still, he greeted her warmly. "Do not worry, my dear. We will find your sister." Simi smiled faintly, pretending to be touched, but inside her heart, panic spread like wildfire. That night, after the village-wide search ended with no success, Simi slept in Sarah's place, but sleep refused her. Instead, a soft sound pierced the silence. Tap, tap, tap. It came from beneath the ground, from beneath the earth, from beneath the lie. Simi jolted up, shivering. "Mama, Mama," she called softly. Amma, unable to sleep because of her missing daughter, rushed inside. "My child, what is it?" Simi looked around quickly, scared the sound would repeat, but it had stopped. She wiped her forehead. "I just had a nightmare." But Amma almost saw it, the terror behind her eyes, the guilt hiding in her trembling. Her worry deepened. Meanwhile, In Mama Ona's healing hut, Sarah was slowly regaining strength. OK fed her weak broth. Mama Ona picked the last grain of dirt from her hair. Wonder shall never end. This child survived the earth, the old healer whispered. The ancestors are not sleeping. Sarah's voice was faint. My twin? She tried to kill me. Mama Ona nodded slowly. The spirit of jealousy is a fire that burns its owner first. OK clenched his fists. She will not get away with this. I saw her. I saw what she did. But Mama Ona lifted a hand. Let destiny speak. A lie can walk bravely in the sun, but when night comes, truth rises like a cold wind. Sarah closed her eyes. The day of truth was coming. The next morning, Simi went to the well to draw water. But as she leaned over, her reflection changed. Instead of her own face, she saw Sarah, pale, covered in soil, eyes wide open, mouth slightly parted. Simi screamed and threw the pot away. Women ran toward her. What is it, Sarah? Talk to us. Simi trembled. Nothing. Leave me alone. But the whispers began. This one is not acting like Sarah. Why is she trembling like a guilty thief? Something is off. The village began to suspect, but they did not know what yet. Even with her twin missing, the wedding preparations continued. During pre-wedding rehearsals, maidens danced while the drums rolled like thunder. Simi stepped forward to join them, but when she tried to dance, her feet stiffened, her knees locked. Her body refused to obey. She stumbled and almost fell. The lead drummer hissed softly, Sarah is the best dancer. What could be wrong with her this time? Ama rushed forward, fear choking her voice. My child, what is happening to you? Simi forced a smile that shook at the edges. I am only tired. But then she heard words whispered quietly, carried in the wind. You cannot dance in the clothes of the innocent. 2 nights before the wedding, Sarah still had not been found. Amma was dying with worry, torn between happiness for her daughter's coming wedding and sadness for her still missing daughter. That night, Simi sat before a bronze mirror dressing her hair. She hummed to calm herself. Then the reflection flickered. Her face vanished. Sarah's face appeared, bruised, dusty, smiling sadly. Simi's blood turned to ice. Then the reflection whispered, Simi, I am coming. The mirror darkened. The room turned cold. Simi screamed and ran to a corner, curling into herself. At last, guilt and fear swallowed her heart. She understood. Destiny was coming for payment. The morning sun rose over Abio village, but its light felt strange, dimmer, weaker, as if the heavens were preparing for something heavy. Birds chirped, but their songs were short. Palms rustled, but the wind was restless. Even the ancestors' shrines seemed to watch in silence. This was not a normal day. This was a day destiny had marked. The palace courtyard was decorated with palm fronds, fresh flowers, and bright cloth. Drummers tuned their drums. Maidens rehearsed their steps. Elders sat under the iroko tree, waiting to bless the union. Everything was ready, but the air was heavy. Prince Dyke dressed slowly, adjusting his coral beads and embroidered wrapper. Yet something pricked his heart. He told his advisor, I feel as though I am walking into a storm. The advisor smiled politely, but said nothing. Royal matters were not for him to question. Meanwhile, the village gathered with excitement. Everyone whispered, Sarah will soon be a queen. The gods have favored her. Abio village will be honored forever. Everyone waited for the bride. Everyone waited for Sarah. But the wrong girl was preparing herself in the hut. Simi stood before the mirror again. She wrapped herself in fine red cloth. She placed coral beads on her neck. She painted her lips lightly. She smiled at her reflection, but the reflection didn't smile back. Instead, it frowned. Then the beads around her neck tightened suddenly, almost choking her. Simi gasped, grabbing them with both hands. She tore them off, panting. Her hands shook. Her heart raced, but she forced herself to calm down. No, I cannot go back now. I have come too far. She stepped out of the hut. Everyone gasped at her beauty, but Alma's heart dropped. She walked toward Simi slowly, fear gripping her spine. My daughter, my spirit has not rested since your sister went missing. I should be happy you're getting married, but I feel as though I'm doing something wrong. Simi inhaled sharply. Her eyes darted away. Mama, I too am heartbroken that my sister hasn't been found. But this is no longer just my marriage. It has become a union of two kingdoms, one that will bring joy and pride to our village. She placed a hand on her mother's shoulder. Mama, do not worry. We will find her. She will be safe. Amma grabbed her arm, her voice trembling. Sarah, you are right. Simi, your sister, will be all right, and we will find her. Simi smiled stiffly, but before anyone else could speak, the drummers called, Bride, come forward. Simi used the distraction to pull away. She walked toward the palace, but her feet felt heavy, as if the ground itself was warning her. Miles away, in Mama Ona's hut, Sarah stood for the first time in days. Her legs trembled, but she stood tall. Okay rushed to her side. Easy, Sarah. You are still weak. Sarah shook her head. Her voice was soft but firm. I must go home. Mama Ona stepped forward, tying a protective charm around Sarah's wrist. The ancestors have cleared your path. Go. Okay grabbed his staff. I will go with you. But Mama Ona held his shoulder. No. This journey, she must walk the final steps alone. Let destiny meet her with her own feet. Sarah nodded. Her eyes glistened, not with anger, but with truth. Dressed in a clean white wrapper, she stepped out of the hut. The forest wind blew gently. Leaves parted as she passed. Even the earth hummed beneath her steps. Destiny was escorting her home. Back at the palace, Simi walked proudly into the courtyard. People cheered. Ah! Sarah is beautiful. Future queen. Blessings follow you. Prince Dyke smiled warmly and stretched out his hand to welcome her. But as Simi stepped forward, the drums suddenly stopped. Every single drum, one by one, pum, pum, then silence. The air thickened. A cold wind swept across the courtyard. The elders stood abruptly. Their staffs trembled in their hands. The chief priest frowned deeply. His cowrie-covered staff glowed faintly. This is not a day for drums, he whispered. The ancestors are restless. Simi's skin crawled. Her heart pounded. Something moved behind her. Something was coming. From the far end of the village path, people suddenly pointed. Who is that? Is that... No, it cannot be. It is her. It is Sarah. Everyone turned. Prince Dyke dropped his hand, eyes widening. Simi spun around. And there, walking calmly through the village gate, was Sarah, alive, breathing, clean, radiant. Her white wrapper glowed under the sun. The charm on her wrist shimmered. Her braids were neatly tied. Her skin was whole. She looked like a woman who had walked out of heaven. Villagers screamed in shock. Oh my God, this cannot be. She was lost. She was missing for days. What is happening? Simi stumbled backward, her lips trembling violently. No, no, this is not possible. Prince Dyke stepped forward, confused and angry. He first stared at Simi, then turned to the person his heart suddenly leapt for. Are you Sarah? What happened to you? Where have you been? But Sarah's eyes were locked on one person. Simi, her twin, her betrayer, her shadow. She walked straight toward her, and Simi's knees buckled. Simi collapsed, shaking uncontrollably. Her voice cracked. Her breath hitched. What? What are you, Sarah? A spirit? A ghost? I buried you. I buried you. How are you standing here? The villagers gasped. Prince Dyke's eyes widened in horror. You buried your sister? The elders stood up at once. Their mother, Amma, walked out dazed, her face a mask of shock and disbelief. The chief priest grabbed his staff. Simi, daughter of Amma, this is your mouth speaking. Do not blame a spirit. Simi sobbed uncontrollably. I didn't mean, she always took everything. Everything. The love, the respect, even the prince. Her voice broke into screaming. I was supposed to shine, not her. Sarah stepped closer, her voice calm like water. You wanted my destiny, but destiny is not something you can steal. She lifted her wrist, showing the ancestral charm glowing softly. The earth rejected your crime. The ancestors carried me out of the grave. At that moment, the villagers parted as Oke stepped forward. He bowed before the chief priest. His voice was clear and strong. She speaks the truth. I saw Simi walking away from a fresh grave that morning, shovel in hand, feet covered with soil. When she left, I dug with my bare hands and found Sarah inside, still breathing. Gasps filled the air. Amma collapsed to the ground, wailing in pain. My children, my children. Oh God, what is this evil? Prince Dyke looked at Simi with horror and disappointment. You would kill your own sister for marriage? Simi sobbed harder, shaking violently. But justice had already begun its walk. The king stood up. His voice was thunder. Simi, you have committed an abomination, the attempted killing of your own twin. The bond of twins is sacred. The elders echoed, sacred. The chief priest raised his staff. For this crime, the ancestors decree, you shall be taken to the evil forest. You shall wander until your spirit finds repentance. You shall not return to the village again. Simi screamed as the guards grabbed her. No, please, Mama, Mama, help me. Amma tried to stand but fainted. Her cries echoed in the compound. Simi clawed at the ground, kicking, begging, shaking. But the earth was done with her. The guards dragged her away into the dark forest, into the place where shadows eat their owners. Silence fell. Everyone turned to Sarah gently. Prince Dyke walked toward her, eyes soft. I am grateful you survived, he said with respect. Will you still allow me the honor of marrying you? Sarah looked at him with calm eyes. My prince, I accept, but not with pride. I accept with humility because destiny is deeper than beauty. The villagers clapped. The elders blessed her. Palm fronds swayed in agreement. And so Sarah married Prince Dyke, not as a proud bride, but as a woman who had walked through death and returned. Her story became a lesson. Her life became a proverb. As for Simi, she wandered the eerie forest for days, hungry, thirsty, eating wild berries, sleeping under trees, suffering from cold, drinking her own urine. Her cloth tore until it looked like a rag. Often she would hear whispers calling her name, proclaiming suffering upon her, and she would run until her legs ached. This became her life, the life of a wanderer, for as long as anyone knew. The elders taught the children, jealousy is a spirit that eats its owner first. You can bury a person, but you cannot bury their destiny. The village never forgot. Sarah never forgot. Even the forest never forgot. Because on quiet nights, some say you can still hear Simi's voice drifting through the trees, calling out in regret. But destiny does not answer. Destiny only watches. Thank you for watching African Tales Point, where every story carries a message. Until next time, keep listening, because the next African tale may change everything.